Hi, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and today I just want to show you a little bit what we're doing in the garden since we moved the chickens out. And I apologize for the windy weather. We're in between rainstorms right now. So we're getting things prepped out here. Main thing I'm doing, we started doing this when the chickens were still in here, when my niece and nephew were here. We were putting a bunch of leaves and leaf compost in here to help fertilize the soil. This is only our second year using this plot for garden bed. So last year we were really just getting things going, but the soil is so sandy around here that we really need to build this up, and I like to do that primarily with stuff that we have on property. So we've been using compost from the chicken runs. As that breaks down, we've been moving it over to both gardens to build up the raised beds as well as this garden last year. I have not done that yet this year. I was planning on waiting until fall to really move some of that in the fall so it could sit all winter. I did have the chickens in here to start taking weeds out and tilling up the soil. Now, it's amazing. They've been out for 1 week and things are starting to grow back already. So one thing I was going to do, and I started doing back behind me here, I started taking more leaves from the edge of the forest, basically where we blew all the leaves in the fall, taking the leaves as well as those that are starting to break down and a little bit of the soil underneath, and piling it up where I'm going to have the beds this year. I'm hoping we'll be able to cut down some of the weeds just by smothering them with the leaves. But also, they do hold moisture quite well and make a great mulch. We moved more leaves into the garden and leaf compost and the halfway broken down stuff, and we basically filled the entire garden of leaves and leaf compost. Now I tried to put more of the compost and the stuff that was half broken down in the areas that I was putting beds. Originally I had these beds marked off with bricks, but kind of realized quickly that as I'm putting leaves down, I'm just going to cover my bricks and won't be able to tell where my beds are. So I started using just like stakes of different types to mark the corners of my bed, so I generally know where they are and where my paths are. Because at the moment, before all the plants come up, you can't tell. Now, some weeds are poking through a little bit. I'm not going to bother with it so much. I'm not particular about having a completely weed-free garden. I just don't want them choking out my plants. So if any grow up close to my plants, I will pull them as needed. So I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, or comment below, and we'll see you later. probably kneel down to block myself from the wind behind this hugelkultur bed.